Hello everybody, Dr. P here. In this video, I will cover Math 10C Polynomials, Topic 2, Example 3 on page 19. In this example, we'll be writing polynomials in factored form using the greatest common factor. Factor each of the following polynomials, express each polynomial as a product of its factors. So we're going to be using the division method here, just like we did in the previous example. We're going to take the whole expression this time, however. So we're going to write it as 5x plus 15. And then we're going to put that L around it like that. And then we're looking for a number or an expression that can be divided out from both terms, both 5x and 15. That expression or number is going to be 5. We do the division. 5x divided by 5 is x, plus 15 divided by 5 is 3. Okay, so what we have over here is going to be this is our greatest common factor. And at the bottom here, we have the remainder. Both the greatest common factor and remainder are factors. Okay, and this question asks us to express each polynomial as a product of its factors. Well, there are two factors, 5 and x plus 3, which means, and a product means multiplication, which means we can express this as 5 times x plus 3. Let's look at the second example here. We have x squared minus 3x. Put in our L. We can divide out an x. X squared divided by x is just x. Minus 3x divided by x leaves us with 3. And I think I put it in the wrong place here, but I can write it here. So to write this polynomial here as a product of its factors, it's going to be x times x minus 3. Next example here, 4x squared plus 6x. We can divide out a 2, which leaves us with, so 4x squared divided by 2 is just 2x squared. 6x divided by 2 is 3x. We can still divide out one more thing, the x. Both terms have an x in common. 2x squared divided by x is 2x plus, and 3x divided by x is 3. So we can write this as 2 times x, so 2x. That's one of the factors. And the second factor is going to be 2x plus 3. Okay, next example. Now we're dealing with a bit larger numbers here, so we might need more space. I'm going to do it on the side here. We have 40x cubed minus 16x squared. We can factor out an 8 from both 40 and 16. 40 divided by 8 is 5, which leaves us with 5x cubed. 16 divided by 8 is 2, so we're left with negative or minus 2x squared. We can factor out an x squared term here. So 5x cubed divided by x squared is 5x minus 2x squared divided by x squared is just 2. So we can express this as 8x squared times this binomial 5x minus 2. In the next example, we have 12 x squared y minus 18 xy squared. We put in our L. And we can factor out a 6 from both 12 and 18. 12 divided by 6 is 2. And we still have the x2, x squared times y. 18 or negative 18 divided by 6 is negative 3 xy squared. We're done with the numerical coefficients. We cannot factor out anything else from 2 and 3. So let's factor out, let's look at the variables and see what we can factor out. From the x squared and the x, we can factor out an x, which leaves us with 2xy minus 3y squared. And then the last thing we can factor out to divide out would be a y. They both have at least one y in common. So that leaves us with 2x minus 3y. Okay, so now we can write this expression as 6xy times 2x minus 3y. All right. And then the last question here, we have a 16x cubed y squared minus 24xy cubed. We put in our L. And here we can factor out a 4 from both 16 and 24. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So we're left with 4x cubed y squared minus, so 24 divided by 4 is 6. 6xy cubed. We'll put in the next level. We can still factor out a 2 from both 4 and 6. So we factor out a 2, which leaves us with 2x cubed y squared. 6 divided by 2 is 3xy cubed. We're done with the numerical coefficients. We move on to the variables. We can factor out an x, which leaves us with 2x squared y squared minus 3y cubed. And then in terms of the y variable, we can factor out a y squared. Both terms have at least y squared in common. They have two y's in common, which leaves us with 2x squared minus 3y. Okay, now we can put it all together. So along the left edge here, it's going to be, we can actually write it like this. So here, if we multiply this and simplify it a little bit, so 4 times 2 is 8. And then we have x times y squared. So that's the first factor. It's going to be 8 times x times y squared times the binomial that's at the bottom. Like that. Okay. Now, what we can do here to check if our answer is correct, we can go backwards. Once we have our answer here, we can multiply this out and see if we recover that original expression. Okay, so what that means here is that I would apply the distributive property. I would take the 8x squared xy squared and you multiply it back into the bracket. We can do that here, so we can check. So 8xy squared times 2x squared is going to be 16x cubed times y squared. And then 8xy squared times negative 3y is going to be negative 24xy cubed. And now we can check that this here is the same thing as what we started with, and it is. If it is, then we did the factoring correctly. Okay. The question is not asking you to check by applying distributive property and multiplying it out, but it is a good idea to do that just to make sure you got everything right. All right, that's a wrap. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and may the math be with you. See ya.